We'll wait and see.
It's the roll of dice at this moment in the bottom right. For LowLandLions, it's up to him to bring it back. We saw fabulous performances by this player today in the individual teams already. It is the Red Protoss player, Mela. And I know this guy, the blue Protoss in the top left, is probably the favorite in the stream chat. Is going to go ahead and be KnightS Gaming. Shock. Well, it seems like it's not only the stream favorite, it's actually the crowd favorite here.
Well, the crowd don't seem to ever have favorites. They just cheer everyone. That's like,
as long as you press the cheer button.
Yeah, it's a secret button under here. Like, there's not actually any audience. Like, we've just green screened it in. Like, we've got a really good soundboard under the desks. Like, it's.
Yeah, like I said, the production is top of the line. I mean,
fantastic.
You could shoot a Hollywood movie with the technology we have up there.
We're not even here. We're holograms.
No,
like,
exactly.
Any mistakes we make, it's not us. It was
By the way, you have a
a
mistake in your code. Your AI is doing weird things right now. Yeah, I can see it.
It does. I'm expecting to get patched soon.
Oh,
It's pretty good.
Do tell them to include an automatic updater.
Yeah, that'd be.
It's an everything thing. You don't have to check for those. So.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Now, PvP. PvP is a fun game where you can get some pretty strange things happening. There was LowLandLions and I earlier cast the strangest PvP I have ever seen in my life. For the moment, this one is following a similar path. They're both doing the same thing, which is making me a little bit nervous. I've got to hope.
You know,
this
they're
is
both
work.
getting a gas at 15, but Mel used up one more kernel boost on his Nexus for probes, and he's getting only 4 probes mining gas, whereas his opponent, Shock, he's getting full 6 probes. He did not kernel boost the Nexus, so his Cybercore is slightly later by a second or 2 seconds maybe. So this makes me think that we're probably going to see maybe DT play coming out of Shock, whereas on the other side of the map for Mela, it can be Blink Stalkers, quite possible. It can be a Stargate opener. It can be 3-gate pressure, maybe possibly into an expansion, depending on how much he can get done.
This scouting is really actually important for Shaq right now because he's getting a great read on the gas count. That's probably the most essential thing that he's really working out here. And seeing that there's only 4 probes in gas, he knows that his opponent won't be able to go as tech heavy as he is currently. No mothership core getting made for either player at the moment. We'll keep an eye out for any coming down. There we go. For Mela, it's coming down. So this is going to start banking up the energy. If a sentry follows up anytime soon for either player, generally they start looking to be more defensive. And there we go. Stargate is on its way. This is the question where you start running here. That you're defending on the ground, you're pushing in, harassing. Will we see Oracles? Will we see Phoenix?
And yeah, 2 more gates are going to probably go down. Now, only 1 gate there for Mela. I have to imagine the Stargate is just for the Oracles. It's actually evening out quite nicely here if we look at Shock's resource distribution there, minerals versus gas. His opponent just getting 2 gates, and he's getting a sentry, so probably going to be expanding. And yes, we do see the 3rd pylon going down. This is the newly invented, pretty popular 2-gate sentry expand build.
Yep.
It's relatively safe if you scout well, if you have good reads, which Mela is quite an experienced player, so he should have no trouble reading his opponent. The first Oracle is on the way though, and he should scout this, but he's going to have to wait either for a hallucination or for an observer, and I think both of those are going to be too late. The warp gate will be, or should be, finished by the time the Oracle reaches his base though, so if he warps in 2 Stalkers preemptively right now when he turns those warp gates on, he should be fine.
He should be. He's also pulling back the Sentry and Zealot into that main base, so he knows something's coming out, getting the Observer on its way, the Oracle on its way through. What is the next warping going to be? There we go. Stalker and a Sentry. This Oracle unlikely to be able to do too much damage here at the moment.
And his Mothership Core also has enough energy for a Photon Overcharge, which you don't want to be using unless you absolutely necessarily have to. You have to make really good choices whether to use the Photon Overcharge or the Time Warp and when to use it. But it is a possibility if he's really in a bit of a bind, which it doesn't look like. He seems to be entirely prepared for that Oracle to come in. look at the position of his army.
Yeah,
and there's the hallucinated Phoenix going to scout out his opponent.
Now, the thing I really like is the follow-up from this. Just the one Oracle, but here it comes. It's coming in. It's going to get a couple of kills here. The Stalkers are going to react, and the Oracle's going to go straight up. Is it going to sacrifice itself to get as many probe kills as possible? Yes, it will. How many does it manage to get? 7 workers killed in total this game by Shaq. So that actually gives him a bit of a chunk of a lead. He's at 24-19. He's following us up with a couple of Phoenix. Only 3 down on the field. But a Phoenix follow-up, I really like that. I think it's a really much safer way to go than following up, say, with a second Oracle, because once one's gone in, you're going to be very cautious about it. Photon Overcharge was triggered, though, so that in itself is nice. The additional Phoenix... another Phoenix in production has just got scouted by the hallucinated Phoenix of Mela.
Yeah, Mel did scout out the whole base of Shaq beforehand with a hallucinated Phoenix. This was actually the second one, and I think he likes what he's seeing because he did see the expansion. He did see, most importantly, the Robo facility went down just before that Phoenix flew past it, and he clicked on it, but I don't think he actually registered what kind of a building it was. So that's why he made a second hallucination to confirm. And since his Robo was so much earlier, I think he's going to like what he sees there.
Yes, he can do a little bit of harassment here. He can kick off a couple more probes. This is the sort of thing you want to be doing. It's frustrating. It's not a game-winning moment getting an additional, like, oh, what's he doing? He's just leaving the Phoenix. One's gone down already. You don't want to lose a Phoenix for nothing there.
Well, he did manage to save all of those, and he's not continuing the Phoenix production, so he's just going to be continuously scouting and harassing his opponent with the 3 Phoenixes. Meanwhile, he's transitioning into a ground army composition. He's getting the +1 and the Immortals. Now, as I said, I think Mela is going to be completely fine with this because he already has his Robo. And look at this. I think this is so smart. He's getting a DT Shrine. He's moving into Blink. He knows or estimates that his opponent really wants to be getting heavy on Immortals. Well, I'm going to get a lot of Blink Stalkers and Archons. Potentially even snipe your obs with the Blink and warp in some DTs. And I'm going to win fights that way.
It's a good way to run. It's quite macro heavy, and of course, if we get into the later stage of the game, Shaq does have his Robotics Bay coming down, so he will start getting those Colossi up. He's already getting a couple of Immortals out, which aren't going to help him massively against an Archon composition. But these Phoenix are still being very proactive. They're coming back around for another pass into the main base. This is the sort of constant pressure that you need to be applying, and if we take a look in the main, there are already some Stalkers there, so maybe a probe or 2. It'd have to be really cautious, and we'd probably lose a Phoenix in the process, so not going to risk it. But take a look at the work count at the moment. Shaq 42 to 36. That's a nice little advantage. The Phoenix once again getting caught out. They're not being microed at all. And only a single Phoenix remains, and that's probably going to go down.
And that one is going to go down. Oh, and that was tough there for Shaq. He just lost his harassment options. DTs are warped in. He does see them though, and he gets one DT there. Good force fields. Any DT you kill is a good DT. You know?
Also, from the scout of seeing that the Dark Shrine was there, he's throwing down a cannon at each base just to make sure. Because if you don't put down a cannon, you've got to keep an observer around, an army around to make sure that it doesn't basically wreck your mineral line. The first forge is coming down now for Mela, and in terms of their supply, I think Shaq's just ahead in this game, but by no means is it a substantial lead or anything like that. He's just made...
I don't... You know, I'm looking at the production tab. I'm trying to judge the direction both of these players will be taking, and I really don't like what... I don't like Shaq's position just a little bit. He's going into Colossi, and look at this. Templar Archives going down for Mela, +1 going down. True, he's behind on upgrades, but he is not going to have Colossi. He's going to have 0 Colossi. He's going to go into Charge Rod, couple Stalkers, couple of Immortals, Archons, and Storms. He's going to do the state style that we have seen on Shoutcraft America from the Protoss player state, and that versus the old Wings of Liberty style is very, very, very effective, especially when in the late game you start adding in Void Rays.
It can be. The thing is, it takes a long time to get that up. Charge is down.
True.
Storm is still going to research. Oh, a DT actually is... I don't think that was cancelled, was it?
Oh, really?
No, it must have been cancelled. It must have been.
I think it has to have been.
I caught it out of the corner of my eye. The DT hasn't been taken out. No, it's still hiding down the back. Will now get spotted. I was going to say, if that stayed in there, that'd be very frustrating. But now, this third base is trying to come back up again for Shaq, but Mela now knows that it's there. And if you know that third's coming down, you can react appropriately. The 2 ways you can react to this is go well, I'm going to come and kill you because you've committed quite a lot of resources to taking this expansion, or, oh dear, I better try and take my third really quickly. Those are really the two ways you can roll with it. And for the moment, with this very forward positioning of his army, I wouldn't be surprised if Mela moves down. There we go, he is on his way. He's going to get intercepted by a single Zeta, which just gives a bit of scouting information more than anything. But the Colossi count already at 2. A third one will be out in time. Extended thermal lance will be done. It's going to be a tough push in.
And he has to make this work because he decided not to take a third. He could have done that. I mean, it wouldn't have been that much of a difference in timing on the third basis, but he decided not to, and he's going for an attack. He's behind by an upgrade right now. Shaq is a +2 attack, and his +1 finished just recently, so he has to make this work. Time warp going down from Shaq. Beautiful placements here. The swords are locked in endless combat right now as the time and air is not moving around them, but they're getting a good hit off on the Colossi. The Immortals and Archons just being too much, tanked just the right amount of damage, and for the time being, at least Shaq has to pull back, but still Mela has to be really, really careful in how he does this by pushing back this army, of course. That makes the natural of Shaq really open to an attack. And I think Mela is trying to go for it, try to do as much damage as he can, wait for the 100 energy on his Mothership core, and maybe possibly recall out, but I don't know if he can do it. That's really not enough energy.
Yeah, this is not going to be an effective push now, because the Colossi are coming in. Mela does have, though, a lot of DTs here, and the cannon was taken out, so the detection is only coming from...
There are 0 observers. There are 0 observers for Shaq.
Oh no!
His Nexus is probably going to go down. He's chrono-boosting 1, but it's not gonna come in time! The Nexus falls! And Mela is back in this game. Oh,
that is such a massive loss right now. Just take a look at the income.
Look at the third base!
Yeah, the third base has got a Zealot Warp in the cannon, taken down once more, so these DTs could potentially move in once again.
He has to pull back for now. The army supply is 46 to 41 after all is said and done. 45 to 45 workers for both of these players. Upgrades will be in favor of Shaq still. And he does have, I think he still does have those Colossi. So yeah, 3 Colossi on the field. I don't actually think Shaq can hold out Mela can hold out in the next engagement that is to come here.
Well, we'll wait to see which way it's going down. There's 3 DTs I'm keeping an eye on, and if they try and do much more, they are just, there's 3 DTs out at the moment for Shaq, so where are they running into? They're going to go in towards the third base. The detection is there, though, for Mela with his army, so he can come and clear these out.
He does have DTs of his own right now. There is detection out for Mela, though. I mean,
there's not in the natural base, though. That's where the damage is being done at the moment, and that DT racking up a couple of kills in the natural for Shaq, and it's going straight up in towards the main. The force field was not quite on the money, but a quick warp and a few more probes should be able to get taken out here before the DT goes down, which it isn't a huge problem. It's going to run away as well, trying to go and hide itself. Meanwhile, another DT coming in towards the third base yet again, dealing a good amount of damage to this building Nexus, and if it cancels forced, which I think it will be, he's got no army nearby.
Yeah, exactly. The army is too far away. It will take some time for it to come back. I think he'll just end up canceling this. He'll just wait for the right moment, because I don't know, if he does save this, it's going to be really low on health when it finishes anyways, so it can be picked off rather easily. Let's see what he decides to do. The Observer is getting close to the DT. There goes the cancel!
Oh. That is really close. So
really close.
This is going to be...
Now the question is he going to try to take a third base? Because right now he is behind the base. As soon as that Nexus of Shaq finishes.
But he's up in army supply by quite a good chunk.
He is.
So he could just go and try and kill his opponent. If he manages that, maybe...
Let's see.
If he can pick off this third base...
He could actually do it. He could actually do it. He's got twice the number of Zealots his opponent has. His opponent's got 3 Colossi, but 27 Zealots. You know how fast that wraps around the Protoss army? And he does have Archons in the back and Immortals to back this up. He just has to pick his place of engagement really, really wisely. This is still doable, but it's really difficult on Belshir Vestige. This map is... I mean, if you have Colossi in a position where Shaq has them right now, you just can't engage into that. It's impossible almost.
with so few units, this is really smart by Shaq. He's sending a DT back down towards the third base again. It hasn't been made by Mela, but now he sees that the engagement coming in at the natural. Good attack angle, best third. Now could help.
Look at that flank from the back.
That is just what he needs. The Colossi are getting focused.
He's getting at them. The Immortals are going to go down as well. There is only those 2 Colossi remaining right now. The Observers are going to be key as well. Whoever has detection remaining is going to have the upper hand in the aftermath of this battle. There's a GG by Shaq. Beautiful play by Mela.